It's not often a watch comes along that genuinely blows me away with its style and design. It's even rarer for one to do that while being slotted into the mid-range AliExpress price bracket. But this one might just have managed it. Yes, the design is very obviously the Zodiac Super Seawolf Pro Diver, but that's not a bad thing. The Super Seawolf line is one of my favourite left-field divers in the more premium Swiss space, and they're certainly not knocking about at £145 or even less when the inevitable AliExpress sale kicks in. So how does the WM211 stack up? Let's find out. I've mentioned it before, but I still appreciate the packaging Welly Merck use. It's actually useful to get a travel case rather than a cardboard box that you'll never get rid of, just in case you stick the watch on Facebook Marketplace one day. And this version feels even handier. It's rugged and feels tough enough that you could just throw it in a suitcase when travelling and not think twice about it. As for the watch, this is very much my cup of tea. It's big and chunky, exactly how I like a dive watch, but still compact enough that it'll sit comfortably on my noodle wrists. In fact, this is one area where I think it's actually improved on the Zodiac, which I'll come back to later. It feels well built for the money. Yes, it's not the most refined thing in the world, or even on AliExpress, but it doesn't feel like that's really the point. The price and specs suggest that this is meant to be a genuinely useful tool watch, something you'd actually wear and knock about a bit. So the ultra crisp finishing probably isn't the priority here. And visually, it's very Super Seawolf Pro Diver. If you like that watch, there's plenty that'll appeal here, from the 5-link style bracelet to the fully loomed dial. Specs-wise, you're getting a 42mm brushed and polished stainless steel case, 48.3mm lug-to-lug and 12.5mm thick. There's a 120-click unidirectional bezel with ceramic insert, sapphire with AR coating up top, and a screw-down mineral display case back and crown, giving you 200 metres of water resistance. It comes on a 3-link bracelet designed to look like a 5-link, with a double push-button safety clasp with 6 micro-adjust holes. And inside, it's powered by the NH35. As usual, I got this watch sent to me for free, but I'll be giving it away to one of my fully loomed members, so if you fancy the chance of grabbing this or any of the other watches I review, please consider joining the Fully Loomed family by tapping the join button below the video. And while you're there, a like and subscribe would be amazing. Anyway, with that out the way, let's see this thing in more detail. The case is big and substantial, but crucially it doesn't feel overbearing. There's a nice mix of shapes going on, a rounded central case with those straight angular lugs shooting out from the top and bottom. In the product photos, the lugs look enormous. In hand, yes, they still look long, but not oversized. And somehow, Welly Merck have kept that very distinctive Super Seawolf Pro Diver profile while shaving a millimetre or so off the lug-to-lug. It doesn't sound like much, but on the wrist it'll genuinely make a difference. Finishing-wise, it is a little raw. There's straight brushing along the tops of the lugs and vertical brushing down the sides. It's not delicate. In fact, I was trying to think of an eloquent way of putting it, but we'll just go with agricultural. But it's consistent and it suits what this watch is trying to be. This feels like a dive watch you'd actually use, not a dressy diver pretending to be one. And with that dial, the tougher finishing works. They have added a bit of visual flair though. There's a polished chamfer running along the top and down the sides of each lug. It's defined, but everything's slightly softened. The transitions between the brushed and polished bits, the edges, the overall shaping, nothing is sharp. Which does at least mean that there's no actual razor sharp edges digging into you. The bezel does look fantastic. That high gloss ceramic insert stands out and the contrasting markers pop against the deep black. Functionally, it's good. The 120 clicks are positive and clicky, but there is a bit of backplay. Nothing dramatic, but nothing exceptional either. The coin edge is nicely done though. Big, grippy knurling that's easy to grab. Which matters because the bezel sits flush with the case rather than slightly overhanging, which is my usual preference. The signed crown follows the same theme. Nothing spectacular, but it screws in and out smoothly and feels secure, making you a little more confident of not questioning the 200 metres of water resistance. Flip it over and the entire case back is polished. It's basic, but honestly, this is exactly where you cut costs if you were trying to keep the retail price sensible. Through the mineral glass display, you can see the NH35. I've said it before, I like the NH35, it's dependable, it just looks like the back end of a washing machine. I'd personally rather have a solid case back with this movement, as I think it does its best work behind closed doors. And yes, because there's no date window, you've got a ghost position on the crown. If that bothers you, it'll bother you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Now this dial obviously has one standout feature, and I'll get to it, but please, just humour me for a minute. The overall layout is straight out of the Zodiac playbook, but it's been executed decently. In fact, and this might annoy a few people, I think it's fractionally better looking than the Zodiac. The markers are sunk into the chapter ring just like the original, which gives it that slightly Seiko Monster vibe as well. They're finished with polished silver borders that look almost black in most lighting because of the shadows cast by the ring, but it adds a nice bit of depth for something at this price. The centre of the dial is flat and clearly intentionally loud. That almost fluorescent lime green, I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite dial colours full stop, and the main reason I've always been drawn to the Zodiac in the first place. The modern colour works perfectly with this simple flat execution. It doesn't need textures or gimmick, the colour does all the talking needed. There's 3 lines of text on the lower half, which caused a bit of drama early on. James over at Honest Watch Reviews received one with automatic spelled incorrectly with one of the T's missing. Thankfully, Welly Merck fixed that before sending out watches more widely, including to us second-rate reviewers, and I'm happy to report the one I've received is correct. Although, with my Northern English accent, it'll be pronounced without the T's anyway. Automatic. The hands are, again, very Super Seawolf Pro Diver. Black coated, which actually works really well here because it boosts the contrast. I would like to see Welly Merck experiment in the future though, maybe bringing that orange minute hand we've seen on other Pro Divers. That could look brilliant against this dial. Still, for the money, these are more than competently finished. The seconds hand is where they've attempted to do their own thing. It's black with a red tip triangle instead of the more restrained original, and I like it. It ties in with the red text and adds a bit of playfulness to a design that's undeniably cool but takes itself quite seriously. But none of that is the real headline, because when the lights go out, this thing completely changes personality. The entire dial base glows blue, the whole dial, which creates this cool negative space effect where the logo, text and hands almost float above it. Then the applied markers, the hands themselves and the bezel triangle fire up a bright green C3, so you get that really cool contrast between the two. And crucially, it's actually pretty decent. The blue glow is more subdued than the green, but it feels like an intentional choice, and somehow the blue keeps holding on, possibly even longer than the green in my eyes. This definitely wears big on my 6¼ inch wrist, but for me, that's perfect. I like a chunky diver, and if I'm going for this style, I'm always picking something that looks a bit oversized and sporty. And because this isn't trying to be anything other than a straightforward masculine tool watch, the size actually suits it. Crucially though, it doesn't feel big. It's well balanced, sits flat and doesn't move around. The bracelet looks far more premium than the price suggests, with a big emphasis on looks. The brushed outer sections with the polished mid-links lift the whole thing and give it some nice light play. There are a couple of signs of cost cutting here and there though. First, it's not actually a 5-link setup. It's a 3-link that's been machined to look like one. But honestly, that works in its favour. You get the look without the flimsiness. It stays solid rather than going all jangly. Some of the edges are a bit rougher than you'd expect from something a little more refined. It's not sharp and definitely not uncomfortable, just a little grabby when you run your fingers over it. But you won't feel any of this with the parts that actually touch your wrist. It seems to be more along those machined foam mid-links. The clasp is similar. It works, stays shut, but it's slightly awkward to clip together. Not a deal breaker, but certainly one of the weakest parts of the watch. But all in all, this isn't just a great piece at a brilliant price. It's genuinely one of the nicest looking watches I've had in for review so far. It's my kind of watch, and if you asked me to describe what I'd happily wear every day, it'd be something like this. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.